Hey everybody, it's me Al, and I just came on for a Sunday night mug toss, and I'm getting ready for the spring show and also for Valentine's Day, and I need some mugs. And I just got back from a wine fest. That was a lot of fun. I sold some pots, and so I'm just having a beer. Man, good beer. You're not supposed to drink in the studio, so don't do that. This This no mug was given to me by my friend Michelle at Gillhouse Pottery. She makes some amazing mugs, so I'm using her mug tonight because maybe I need to say no a lot more, right? Your life is happier when you say no. So, what I'm going to do, I have 12 I have 12 lumps of clay, 2 poundies, and I'm at the treadle wheel. And I got this treadle wheel up in central New York, and it's foot powered, right? So I can work it when the electric goes out, which is beautiful. And I have a 3 gas updraft kilns, so I can fire it when the electric's out. Um, so I need to. I'm late on the Valentine pots. My goal was to get all the vases done and fired a couple weeks in advance, but I got tied up with work at the big paper factory, so I need to catch up and throw those either tonight or tomorrow. But right now, we're going to do some mugs because we need some biggie mugs. And so we'll get on it. I have a white clay body. And as you can see here, I put a clay pad down, right? And I put these tiles on. And these tiles act as bats so that I can remove the mugs and then put them on a wear board. And then I can trim them and everything else without touching them. But we're gonna make some non-trimming pots. Making non-trimming pots, you have you throw a straight pot, then you take a tool like this that's cut out, and then you put a ridge in the bottom. And I have one here to show you what that ridge will look like. It's like this, right? So this is a big biggie mug, and this this ridge was created by this. So we're gonna make some of those pots. So we're gonna pull up we're gonna pull up 12 biggie mugs. Let's get started. So here I have my clay bag, and I sprinkle some water in there because this clay came in hard. If you got hard clay, you're gonna have a real bad time. The only thing really that I need to toss mugs is I need a trim stick really because I'm making non-trimmy mugs. I just need the wire tool and a sponge for the most part. And if I run into some kind of strange trouble, I would need a pin tool. But most of the time, I don't really need that. So I'm on a 4-inch by 4-inch tile. You can get the tiles at a hardware store, a whole pack for, I don't know, of 25. And you can use them as bats, and they work great. This is a stoneware clay, and it's really nice to throw. So it's freezing cold outside, and it was snowing most of the day, and I didn't get a chance to go hardly anywheres. So I thought I would get caught up on things and then throw some stack pots, right? Some stack pots. So what we're going to do first is we're going to create the opening. And what I really like about the treadle wheel is that the speed variation from my foot creates little wobble tops, right? So we're going to go down and create that opening. Then, once I get the first one thrown, I'm going to set up the gauge so that I can throw them all at the same height. Right? So if you were free throwing, you would need to worry about throwing them all at the same height. I'm not really worried about throwing them all at the same height, but if you have the gauge, you can relax your mind and not really worry about it because you're just throwing two. So we want to get this first one fairly decent because all the rest are going to be patterned off this one, right? So I want my bottom to be fairly smooth and compressed. And then we're going to start to go up here. So hopefully you can see what's happening. So you can see how this top's flared out. I'm going to bring this back in. Now I'm gonna throw this up. So I'm gonna compress that top and round that top. And take my sponge and do the same thing again. I'm putting a lot of water in this clay. This clay body seems to be very thirsty. So now what we're gonna try to do is try shaping this out a little bit. Now, since we got the height, we're gonna shape this a little bit. Alright, so now we're gonna make the side straight with this rib. And then we roll. I might flare this top out a little bit. Then design-wise, we're going to put a little swirl in the bottom. So that way, when you're done with your drink, you can look in there. We're going to take this tool and run it right into the edge, okay? And it'll create that foot that I was talking about. There, now you have a non-trimming mug. So this will dry, and I won't even need to trim this. So now what we do is we set up our scale. Our scale. See that? I just hit the side. That's all right. I might put some design work into these anyways. Because we don't want to make lazy pots, right? So this thing here comes out like this. And this moves up and down. See? That. So let's set this back a little bit so I'm not stabbing it. So once I get this set up, it works out fairly nice. So what I need to do is tighten that. So you're going to say, all right, I'm going to go right to there. You say to yourself. Now, if you don't have you don't have one of these things, you can just use a clay and a stick, right? Clay and a stick. So I get this off. This is stuck on my clay base here. Just pop this like this. And then tomorrow we'll do handling. There we go. So now I can move on to the next one. So on and so forth. We'll put this down. So now we're set up. We can just throw as we wish. Sometimes this thing gets in the way. I kind of like this face shape, so I think I'm gonna go with that. It's nicer than the first one we threw. So let's see what'll happen, right? There we go. That for shape. Put a foot on it. Sometimes you just got to go with the flow, right? All right, we got two biggies done. Oh, thank you. Let's see. Still got some water in there. I like to get the water out of there so you don't get bottom crackers, right? So I'll flip these in the morning. You should flip these as soon as they can withstand being flipped on their rim. Because you want the bottoms. You always want the bottoms to dry first, right? Bottoms up. Bottoms up. It's like drinking beers. All right. So the process goes right along once you get moving. So it's been freezing. I put hot water in my throwing pail. Fussing too much with this one. Probably gonna see if I can save it. Do it. Not bad shape. You can see that little wobble top there. Knocked it off center coming up. All right, we got 4 of them done. 4, 10. 6 more. Not bad. That's the lucky thing about pots. You screw one up, you can always do 6 more. It's kind of funny. I got this gauge here. I'm not even using it. They're all coming out fairly the same height. Might as well just put this over here and not worry about it, right? Luke Skywalker it. Sometimes the gauge can be a distraction, right? You're looking at where you need to be rather than your natural motions. So after you do this a bunch of times, you end up kind of going into an auto mode. It's kind of like driving while you're thinking. Like you don't need to concentrate on what you're doing. You can kind of relax in the process and go off motor memory. So after a bunch of them, your motor memory will be making all the pots almost the same. And it ends up being this relaxing feeling that you get after maybe a long drive. So you want to round this rim. If you don't round the rims, the beverage will drip down your shirt. So sometimes it might even take a while to get some good pots out. Because as you go, the first 3 might look bad, right? Everything you do is practice. Practice for the next thing, right? See, I'm fussing way too much with this. Fussing way too much with this one. So yeah, I broke my that's all this thing is fish line. I use heavy duty fish line. All right, that's 6. see if I can socket. There we go. Gonna have to make a new string. So 8, 8. Oh, I think I'm gonna lose this one. Yep, I think I'm gonna lose that one. Pull it off. I accidentally went too far out on the bottom. It's okay. You are, but I know better. So with these, they might be better just to start over rather than rather than keep it. So I'll let it dry and we'll decide. That rim needs to go a little bit thinner. See, I'm messing with a piece I may not even keep. Oh well. Some believe every pot deserves a chance, right? But you end up wasting a lot of time and resources because it's not going to make it. You still have to fire it out and all this stuff, and then it doesn't make it. But we'll see. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, we got 4 more to do. Then take a break. So usually I listen to audiobooks and talk, not to myself. Talk to the camera because you should never count how many you're doing. Just throw until the bag's empty and surprise yourself. Because a lot of times you might get fatigued or anxiety worrying about how many you threw. And you lose concentration on actually doing the work, right? Because in reality, you do the work one pot at a time, not a whole bag. So you shouldn't worry about the whole bag. You should only worry about the pot you're on. Oh, hi. Um, my kiln building is paused right now because it has snow on it. Um, as soon as it gets warm out, I am going to be right back on it. I have it a quarter of the way up. And the base is all laid. The concrete is poured and the base is laid. And the first bricks are laid on the concrete blocks. So what I need to do, as soon as things thaw out, is finish the firebox and build the arch on the wear chamber, and then put in the chimney. Then I need to get help building the chimney and putting the tatami brick roof on the firebox. So I am trying to get out of putting the tatami roof on the firebox, the tatami brick. It's a beautiful process because the tatami brick are handmade brick, and it's cemented in and stacked in old-timey fashion. However, once your tatami brick is on the roof, and if you would need to reorganize something or redo something because your firebox didn't work out or you need to go bigger in building, you would need to take that all off and redo it. So I'm trying to get out of doing that and use regular brick for the ceiling of the firebox rather than rather than the handmade tatami. But the handmade tatami is so beautiful and it's really nice to see. However, like I was saying, if you need to make changes, you're going to have a bad time because you need to take the whole roof off. So I need to talk to the previous owners who are going to help me put this thing together and express my concern in some way to convince them that I need the options to make changes, right? So we'll see what they say. Um, they gave me the kiln, so I want to respect their wishes. And they're my mentors from college way back, and they're the ones that gave me the wood kiln. So, with the stipulation that I allowed students to come help me fire it, which is no problem. Um, so I just need to convince them to let me rebuild it back in a way that changes can be made to it if needed. That's a long explanation, I know, but so that is where the kilns. I have all the brick. I got a really good deal on brick, and heavy duty fire brick. Spanners. They're double brick. I need to cut a bunch of them in half so that I can build the kiln properly. I have all the mortar and everything to do it with. Handmade mortar. I use Portland cement, fire clay, and sand, and then you put it together. And that's how you make the tatami brick too. You could make the high fire tatami brick from the same material. So if you ever need to make kiln brick, there's a recipe on my website on how to do it. I think there's one other thing that you put into it. Alumina. Yeah, alumina. It's also used for the wadding. But yeah, if you have those, you can just make your own brick. It's pretty nice. Yeah, I put a lot of money into the pots this year. Probably way too much. Because the kiln base alone to get it poured was like $3,000. Um, so that took a lot of pot money and overtime at the paper factory. But we'll get there. Because I was kiln building and doing other things, my revenue from the pots were down by half last year because I just didn't put a lot of time into making. I was mainly building and paying for all the things that I had that I needed to get done here. So I need to make some serious revenue this year. Pay for everything, huh? All the equipment's paid for. Everything that I have here is paid for. The kilns are paid for. I just need to. All the brick was given to me and it's paid for. So the only thing I need to pay for is finish paying for is the concrete that was poured for the base of the kiln. See, I moved. It's funny, when I get thinking, my foot slows down and my speed ends up having a variation in it because I can't walk and chew gum at the same time, right? There we go. Yeah, money does go quick. Another thing that we had happen was we had two of our cats get sick almost at the same time. So we had vet bills for our furry friends, furry kids, and that ended up being very expensive. Um, they needed medication and all kinds of things. And then after a time, they didn't make it anyways, which was kind of sad. It sounds kind of spooky, but the ground was frozen, so I couldn't bury the cat. So we have it in one of those bags in the freezer, the downstairs freezer, until spring. There really wasn't much we could do. We wanted to bring it back and bury it underneath the maple tree with the rest of the cats because we had a few others that have passed from old age mostly. And I think one was 16 years old, one cat was 18, another was 17. So they're living a long time. Yeah, see what happened there. I got too damp on my clay pad here. So I need to wipe that off. I have one more to go after this one. So we're going to try to get suction back onto this. So these ridges on this clay pad, put them in here like this. And this is supposed to hold the bat. Usually does a good job, but this clay sucks up so much water. So this happens quite often. And now I need to center this. I need to center it. If I can. Might take a bit. If not, I'll just make a wobble mug. See, it's good practice to do wobble mugs. You want to do a wobble mug, you throw the base, and then you set it off center. And then you finish throwing the pot. It makes this really cool wobble. Um, that comes in handy for times like this, when your pad might flip. You can create a wobble mug. So it's like causing a happy little accident. And then when all the Mrs. Davises see it, like, oh, that's so cute, a wobble mug. You're so unique. You'd be like, yeah, I meant that. But really, it was just a bat slip, like you just seen, you know? But you don't need to tell on yourself, right? No need to tell on yourself. Oh man, this is really wobbly. I think we can fix this. I think we can make it correct. Let's make it correct. Go. So it looks like we made the correction. That just might be an okay mug. So tomorrow, I need to put handles on these. If they're dry enough in the morning. All right, we got one more to throw. Then we'll have 12. 12 muggies. 12 large mugs. Then I need to take a break. So after each wear board, it's important to take a break because throwing can be repetitive motion, right? And you should move around and stuff because repetitive motion ends up giving you carpal tunnel and all those things. So that's why I stand to throw because sitting would kill my back. I work manufacturing and I need my back because we do active things. And so I stand so I can keep my back straight somewhat. And I also have my electric wheel up on blocks. There are times when I sit, but most of the time when I throw, I stand. I try to get a fairly decent bottom on these. The bigger mugs, I throw a thicker bottom because people say it may be cooler longer. I don't know how true that is, but I let them think that because who am I to tell them? Um, some people put them in the freezer to cool their mug before they put their drink in it. So I throw them a little bit thicker for those people. Then there are others who are thinnies, and the thinnies say the pot should be light to the feel because you don't want to add more weight while you're holding your drink because your wrist will get tired. So some of the thinny potters, they throw very light and they're very beautiful pots to feel. And sometimes the weight of the pot is lighter than the weight of the liquid inside of it. And if you can do that, and if you're a thinny pot tosser, you will walk around proud to know that the weight of the liquid in your pot is heavier than the actual pot itself. But I'm more of a functional person. Um, and feel that there's a time to be a thinny and a time to be a thickie, right? You just need to figure out what function the pot is for. So who's it for? What's it for? Right? You should be asking. So maybe a casserole dish will be a thickie because it's going to be in use and it's going to be going from hot to cold. It's going to need to keep food warm for a little while. There, you got a philosophy lesson for free. I didn't even charge. See that? This is for the free subscribers. Everything I do here is for the free subscribers. Isn't that nice? Very generous, right? Actually, I don't do any paid. I'm more of a pop person than I am of a writer kind of thing, and I just want people to enjoy seeing how pots are made and thinking about creating. Right? You shouldn't have to pay to do that. Although, if you make your living off doing it, I guess. There we go. That's the last one. So I'm going to put this over here with the rest of them. And that makes 12. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That is a 25-pound bag of clay. And I usually can throw 18 in an hour, but with the largies, it goes a little bit slower. But I'm going to wash my hands here. And then I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I'm going to have that beer right there. And I'm going to pour this into my no mug. Again, this no mug was from Gillhouse Pottery. And you can go over there to her website and tell her that you've seen one here. All right, friends. Have a great day and keep creating work that matters for people who care, right?